Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. In the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. Gentlemen, we are in a very toxic relationship. I would say even abusive relationship. You boo me all the time since, for the past decade. And you expect me to just be a good guy and laugh and smile all the time? Nah, I'm good. I'm over it. I'm breaking up with you. And especially you in the hat.
Coming at you hot, Chris, right off the jump.
All right, so did we buy John Cena's very somber, I guess, break up with everybody? Did we buy that, guys?
Chris, you go.
Okay, so I think you can definitely tell he needed this extra time between the turn before he made his first TV appearance to get prepared for this role. I mean, I think that's what it was. I think he played it as well as he could. I love it so far because I'm all about a bad seed, John Cena. I'm an old school guy. You guys know me, Attitude Era. Give me this corporate behemoth we can root against. I love that aspect. So anything else to me is moot. I love the angle. Give me more.
He's such a bad guy, Rod, that he filled in the bald spot. That's how bad he is right now. How about that?
I don't think he went to the bald spot. That's usually my territory. Jimmy, you're fabulous for going there. I thought it was absolutely fabulous. I thought it was one of the best promos I've seen anybody cut for a long time. And if you can't walk away from that promo understanding that there's like a handful of guys that have the ability to do what John Cena did in that ring, right? I mean, just a handful of guys can do that. Like, I'm not even sure Hogan, right, who we consider one of the greats, could pull off what Cena did in that ring there, right? Certainly The Rock can do it. I mean, The Rock can do it, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin, not necessarily known for his silver tongue, but he had an ability to command the audience, so I think he would have been able to pull it off. But it was absolutely amazing. I mean, we can get into the crowd separate because that's a whole nother thing to talk about that added to it. But I think it was wonderful how long it took for Cena to talk, right? Because you really did think at one point he was going to come down to the ring and not say a damn word. And I was pissed, but I was loving it. I was smiling ear to ear. I was smiling ear to ear when I thought he was just going to leave that ring. And then when the crowd booed him for not talking, the light popped on in my head. I was like, I think I know exactly where he's going to go. And then he went there. Now, did he need to go there for 12 straight minutes? I don't know. I think Cody could have come out a little quicker, but I loved the promo. It was cut well. But if we're also going to boil it down, Jimmy, it's the same old boilerplate stuff. How dare you? You know what I mean? We've heard so many wrestlers jump in the ring and do that.
I wanted to see some fisticuffs there at the end. I was upset that didn't happen.
Well, Chris, I mean, I've been called a whiny bitch many, many times, and every time I've been called that, I have definitely thrown hands. So I can't believe Cena just took that and then just walked out. I do like the fact that they didn't fight. Remember, we still have, 5 weeks left before WrestleMania, so there's some time. They did not even mention The Rock at all. They didn't mention the concussion that Cody Rhodes probably got from the black eye. So there's a lot more that they can do still. I just hope it's not another 3 weeks before we get Cena again.
Yeah, he can't stay away that long. He can't, Jimmy. Yeah. He's got to come back and give us more. I'm with you that I didn't want fisticuffs there, but I think we got to point out that the WWE is really attempting to crown Cody Rhodes because leading into 2 successive WrestleManias, he's got to call The Rock and now John Cena a whiny bitch. Not everybody gets the chance to do that.
Well, Rod, I mean, I know you're not the biggest fan of Cody's, but he's been crowned. He is the king. He is the number one guy in the company right now. And I mean,
think the pop he got when he came out, I mean, it's insane, right? Like, I come on here and I try to talk down Cody Rhodes. I'll admit that 10% of it is a bit, you know what I mean? 10% of it is a bit. Somebody's got to be against Cody around here, you know what I mean? But 90% of me, I understand that Cody Rhodes is great. I don't find it as compelling as others do, but clearly I'm smart enough to see that people absolutely love this dude.
They do. They love him, and this crowd in Belgium, these international crowds never disappoint. We love the international crowds here, and Chris, it's just an amazing experience to be in that crowd, to see what's going on. I'm sure you were over there. You took your boat over there. It took you about 6 months to get there, but you were in that crowd, right?
No, because that 6-month journey would have meant I would have had to miss the Rumble, which I wasn't going to do. So I got to say one thing. I am kind of with Rod, but I've always found Cody a little bit boring. All right, I'm not going to lie. Like I did enjoy his first little feud with Rollins. He did come out with the torn pec. Like that
his
was
first little feud with Rollins, a little thing.
Yeah,
nothing
right.
Major.
Like, but beyond
Leave
that,
Seth out of this.
Beyond that, it's been pretty copy, paste, repeat, whatever. Right. This is the most interesting storyline I have seen with Cody Rhodes since I've been watching, which is about the same time he came back to the WWE.
And right now, Rod, I mean, we have our thoughts, but we really don't know who's going to win at WrestleMania. And I think that's a pretty cool feeling. You know, you knew who was going to win 2 years ago when Cody and Roman fought. You knew Cody was going.
Wait a minute,
Okay,
you
well,
two
that didn't
jokers.
happen.
Wait a minute, you two jokers were convinced Cody was going to win 2 WrestleManias ago. I was the only one who said Roman was walking out of that with the belt.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, whatever. He was supposed to win, but someone changed their mind. And then last WrestleMania,
I was wrong. I thought Roman was still going to win again.
Still going to win
WrestleMania,
again.
So you guys flipped it.
Do it a third year. Why not? Do it a fourth. The only reason you hate Cody Rhodes is because he's beaten Seth Rollins every time they wrestled. And I think that is terrific.
And I'm pretty sure I picked The Rock last year to win at WrestleMania, which was way off.
Yeah, speaking of hypocrites, Rod, you have some thoughts on Corey Graves and the announcing team on Monday Night Raw since it was overseas.
I think it's cool that Corey was allowed to do it, to be honest with you. I think that maybe was in question with a little bit of that whole, was it a shoot, was it a work promo when he went, you know, and expressing his not liking being sent down to NXT. But I appreciated that. You know what I mean? To me, that makes Corey Graves more human, right? Like, I work at a classic rock radio station. I've been passed over a couple of times to be the drive time dude. You know what I mean? And I get stuck on the weekends and somebody new comes in and then they've been the drive time guy and I'm still stuck on the weekends, right? So I understand Corey saying, hey, you know what I mean? I'm out here, I'm doing the work and it's not good enough to you guys. And that is clear to me, okay? I am not going to go way hard on Pat McAfee because that dude's fans are so online and I just don't want to catch all of the guff from them. But like, come on, Pat. If you're going to be a wrestling commentator, let's be a wrestling commentator, because it was so clear to me how much better at that job Corey Graves is than Pat McAfee. I'll agree that Pat McAfee is a bigger star than Corey Graves, so fine, put him on your airwaves, but Corey Graves runs laps around Pat McAfee as a wrestling color commentator. He knows the movesets more. He knows all of the storylines. He can bring up past history and feuds. He can bring up their past work in other wrestling corporations. Pat McAfee is doing zero of those things, right? He is just trucking out the same old tired, oh, how about if I say something now that's funnier? Oh, wasn't that a cool move? Great, fine. Voice of a fan. We all are fans ourselves, but give me a color commentator that provides color.
Hey, Chris, isn't it funny how every single week Rod comes on this show and says, I want entertainment. I want to be entertained. Da-da-da. I don't need all this stuff. And then he finally gets the entertaining guy and the funny guy, and he's like, no, I want the X's and O's. I want this. I want that. I just think it's kind of a funny little wrinkle there in Rod's gimmick.
You want to know what's really funny? Everything that he just said that he is upset about with Pat McAfee being a color commentator, I'm essentially upset with the fact of Logan Paul being a professional wrestler, right?
Always going back to Logan Paul with
right?
You.
Yeah.
Throw a Drew McIntyre quote in here too. Why not? Let's just play all the.
I'm serious though. I would much rather see a guy who's put in the work, who has came up through NXT and blah blah blah. But I understand the reason why he's there, right? He brings another fan base in. He sells things. Pat McAfee brings another fan base in. He sells things, right? I understand it. So I can understand why some people wouldn't be happy with a Pat McAfee as the commentator. I do think that maybe if you're going to keep McAfee and why is he
Michael Cole?
Thank you. That's horrible on my part.
Wow.
If
Rod,
you're gonna keep
Rod, I'm going to give you free reign here in a minute.
If you're going to keep them together, you need a third person who will play the heel to them because they're too much alike. That I do kind of see having an issue with. Give me somebody else, give like a Corey Graves, who's going to give me the heel, like when the American-made luchador comes out, he's like, "Oh, look at that body! Look at that American-made luchador." We don't know who that is. Like, I still want that in one of the commentators on the desk, right? I don't need two babyface fans all the time.
Jimmy, let me ask you 2 questions here before I say anything more. Right, I want to go to you as our wrestling expert, our man that's been around a little bit longer than Chris and I. All right,
Sure.
Do you think Pat McAfee does more for getting people over in his fame and then he jumps on, or can Graves actually secretly do more to get people over because he can constantly help tell the story?
It's. I knew you were going to ask that question. It's two different. I think the answer is yes to both, unfortunately, because look what he did for Shinsuke Nakamura when McAfee was dancing on the table. That got over huge, and it did bleed over to Nakamura. It wasn't just on McAfee, but then Corey can get the people who are actually listening better. Listen, I love Corey Graves. Corey Graves does a better job on color commentary than Pat McAfee. And what Chris is saying, in theory, in a 50,000-foot view, may not be a bad idea, right? But I don't think Graves and McAfee sitting next to each other is the best idea ever at this time. And I don't think Michael Cole would get any words in edgewise, and he's the GOAT of the lead announcer. So we need to make sure we have him get some time in there.
You could bring over Wade from SmackDown and send Corey Graves back to SmackDown, and that would work.
Well, but either way, though, no. So either way, Chris, I'm just saying a 3-man booth is tough because McAfee takes so much, and Michael Cole has to get his stuff in too. So whoever you put in that third position would not, I don't think, would be used to the best of their abilities, honestly.
Hold on, second question. Do you guys agree with me on this, that at times it can seem like Pat is making it more about himself than about the product?
I'll tell you this. I'm tired of seeing him stand on the desk yeeting.
But again, it's getting people involved. He's having fun with it. I don't think it's just, hey, look at me, look at me. I think he's generally enjoying that.
I'm not a Uso fan, Jim. I don't want to see anybody yeeting, whether it's Pat McAfee or the grandma behind him.
Are you still mad at Jey Uso?
The Usos are part of the bloodline, are they not?
The bloodline are good guys now, though, Chris.
Chris can't
win.
For someone who doesn't have a good memory, you really hold grudges, man.
I mean,
I love it.
No, he's still going back to Clash at the Castle here, Jim. He's basically still going back to Clash at the Castle and the Bloodline taking out his boy Drew. He's still basically on that.
I mean, what about every other match any of the Usos and Roman Reigns were in for the years I came back? No, I don't like them or any of them. The closest person I'm a fan to is Big Jim, and that's not quite there yet, but that's the close. That's the closest.
I love this, Chris. They were bad guys. You boo bad guys. Bad guys cheat. Now they're good guys. Now he doesn't cheat. Now he's going to win.
Jey Uso's like the number one good guy. Like anybody that doesn't have any friends that needs help in the ring, Jey Uso has all of a sudden been the guy nominated to come out and help him. Like he's friggin' helping out Tozawa and Otis, Chris. Come on, like that's the number one good guy. Like Paula it was Janet Jackson. Excuse me. I apologize, Janet. Janet said, "What have you done for me lately, Chris?" Do you remember that great 80s song by Janet Jackson? You should start living your life by that, all right? Don't hold everything that they did in the past against them. Give them a chance to show you who they are lately. And lately, Jey Uso is the man.
It's convenient until Roman gets his belt back, brings the bloodline back, and it's going to be business as usual. And I see it coming. They're just trying to do things. They're trying to manipulate things. They got the wise man on their corner. They always have that. I will not forget what could be working behind the scenes, and I cannot let the bloodline be forgotten as the despicable group that they were.
I love this, Chris. I mean, it's just 3 guys. One of us is literally in their parents' basement right now. 3 guys talking wrestling. You know, I love it. This is great.
Guess which one of us, the 3, is in their parents' basement, by the way, folks at home. We're not going to tell you which one, but one of us 3 is in our parents' basement right now.
Heck yeah, that's what we do on the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. Penta, listen, Rod, You love some Penta, Chris. You love some Penta. We're getting a Penta Intercontinental. I think it's going to be like a 7-way Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania, like they've done in the past. But I think Penta gets this championship at Mania. What do you guys think?
You don't think we can get just Penta versus Braun? You don't think they can build that up enough? Because they certainly are trying their every bit to make us think that Braun Breaker is one of the ultimate badasses, and he seems like he is to me.
Yeah,
I got to admit, the guy impresses me. He's a little bit better on the mic and holding together a character, I think, than I would have given him credit for.
He is. Chris, would you rather see a multi-person match here or just a one-on-one?
If we get to a one-on-one before Braun and Penta, I want to see more of Penta being able to handle and dominate someone more Braun size, right? A larger dude. If it's going to be a 3, 4, 5, 7-way, then I think Penta has a real shot at winning it then.
Penta's a bigger luchador at 87 kilos, Chris. Do you know how many pounds that is?
That's about, 245 maybe?
No, it's only about 190. But that's still pretty big for a luchador.
Still.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely pretty big for a luchador, for sure.
Yes, but that's not what we're talking about, though.
Chris. But you just said size, though, right? So I'm saying as far as luchadors go, he's the biggest we've ever seen, so he's closer to Braun, because he's not Bronson Reed or Braun Strowman, you know what I mean?
He's not
that
tall,
big.
he's thick, if you will.
Right
now,
now,
want to see him fight Otis? What do you want to see him fight Otis, Chris? If
no,
you take Otis down.
What I'm saying is I like where we're moving. You know, like give me more Ludwig type guys to fight him. Maybe let me see him beat up an Austin.
Ludwig's skinny. You just said you want to see him beat a barrel chest dude. What do you want to see?
Ludwig is a good wrestler. Let's not forget that. Like he is, right? But like, or how about somebody like an Austin Theory? I want to see him handle guys quickly. Give me a statement like we kind of saw with Uso in Theory. Like, give me a couple like statements that make me as a newer wrestling fan believe that this guy can overcome. Like, right?
How many?
What?
How many shows are you going to keep with this newer wrestling fan? Honestly, you've been podcasting for 2 years now. How long are you keeping this up?
I mean, as long as I have still the least amount of information and knowledge as us three, then I will always be the newer fan.
So I think we're going to get him going against the Creeds coming up one-on-one. Those guys are a little bit bigger. And going through the roster right now, it's interesting how, like,
do you want to see him fight Apollo Crews, Jimmy? Is Apollo Crews even still around?
Apollo Crews, not sure what brand he's on. Sheamus would be somebody who he would probably get killed by, but
yeah, he's not.
I mean, he'd beat him now. I think Sheamus would be the person that he'd have to go right before Braun Breaker.
I would like to see a match like that, where if he handles a Sheamus, then I'll be like, okay, this guy can definitely handle a Breaker in WrestleMania.
So I'm speaking about the Creeds here. Gable, Creed, Ivy Nile and Dakota Kai had a matchup. It was fine. It was, kind of a throwaway thing. But I'm getting to be a big fan of Ivy Nile. I think she can go some places, especially with these mid-card titles coming up. And I know, Chris, you love Gable's group and, their newest member, the Luchador.
I am not yet sold on American Made. I'm not. Ivy Niles hasn't moved the needle. I really did not pay attention to this match much at all because Dakota doesn't interest.
Dakota Kai's fault. Dakota Kai's terrible, Jimmy. She's terrible.
Right?
I thought she had.
I know.
I think she's too injured. I think she's just been too injured to be able to get it together anymore. She can't wrestle a good match, Jimmy. It's too choppy.
That's true. Something that wasn't choppy, but very, very, you have to suspend your disbelief for. Apparently, all you have to do is sign the contract, and you're now in the WrestleMania main event for the women's title between Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and now, obviously, we're going to get Rhea Ripley in that as well. I don't know if I like it that way, Rod.
No, this is terrible, man. This is terrible. Have you seen the little 2-minute video that the EST cut and put out on social media?
No.
It's really, really good. She basically just lays it out, right? In kayfabe, you know what I mean? But she still just lays it out. She's like, okay, so you don't have to win the Royal Rumble. You don't have to be champion. You know what I mean? Like, you can just sign a contract and get into a match when you're Rhea Ripley, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to be in the position of talking bad about Rhea, but that's what they're making us do here. And I think it's an interesting choice because she still gets huge pops from the audience. Like, you could you can make a case that she's a top 5 wrestler in the company, male or female, right? Put them together, she's top 5, maybe even top 3. And to make this turn with her, we're forcing Io Sky into the match, and now Rhea's just entering in a nefarious way. Like, I don't like it, Jim. I really don't. I don't like for the ability that it can lead for other contract signings, because this is a way that they fill a lot of camera time. And so now this is another thing we have to worry about for contract signings in the future. And it kind of makes Rhea look weak, and that's definitely not what she is.
So, Chris, I mean, we are a pro Io Sky podcast, I think. You know, we all enjoy Io Sky. She does a really good job.
Pro Io Sky, anti-party crasher.
Okay. Chris, I don't know why they put the title on her. I don't think the match is going to be any better. You're telling me a Rhea Ripley Bianca Belair match wouldn't have been great?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe they made a mistake, right? Or what I'm not seeing is, like Rod kind of alluded to, she's getting the biggest pop. She's essentially a baby face on the women's circuit right now. So are they really trying to all of a sudden push her to be a heel already? Like, she's only been a baby face for a little bit. Is this what they're trying to do to get her back to being a heel? Are we going to even buy that as her as a heel? Or are we just going to stop liking her? Like, I think they'll have to do something to make it where her signature doesn't mean something, whether that's a match next week or sometime, but there'll be something.
Here's the opportunity they missed too, Jim. They had plenty of time when Rhea Ripley was on the shelf where Io Sky could have been a big deal. And they chose to make Liv Morgan a big deal, which I'm not against. I think Liv Morgan does a fabulous job, but we had a vacuum that Io Sky could have filled. So it makes it seem even more odd right now that you're filling her into that vacuum when, like you said, you had the EST Rhea Ripley match right there. Charlotte Flair just came back. You know what I mean? Like, you've got plenty of things that you can do. Why are we shoving Io Sky there now? And you knew I had to bring up Charlotte.
Well, we'll talk about Charlotte here in a second, but yeah, I agree. We do have to talk about.
Wait, can I bring up one thing that Chris mentioned before we go further on? Austin Theory, Jimmy. I think that match says more about Austin Theory than it even does about Jay. Because if we think about where Austin Theory was a year ago, right? Some of the things that we thought about him and some of the things they even did with him. Let's not forget this guy won an Elimination Chamber within the last couple of years, all right? Or a Money in the Bank or something. It was something.
Money in the Bank. And he was in a main event of WrestleMania.
Right, and he was in the Elimination Chamber once upon a time, right? So he had those opportunities, and he literally just came out on Raw and got squashed by a high cross body in like 15 seconds. That's not a good look for your boy.
Speaking of not a good looks for my boy, Jey Uso almost died. He missed his splash and came down really hard. Thank goodness everything was okay, because that would just be the worst thing ever to happen. Yeah.
Remember, Top Dollar did the exact same thing before he got fired.
Yeah, he did. Speaking of top people in the promotion, Top Dollar, we have Charlotte Flair made her in-ring return against B-Fab. Sure, whatever, that's fine. You're not going to get a 4-star match out of B-Fab, but good to have her back. But all these security guards can't really take down Tiffany and Charlotte. They must hate each other, Rod.
Yeah, and then the Tiffany moonsault didn't actually land on Charlotte at all. She just took out all the security guards. But Charlotte, the pro, still sold it like she took a hit there, so she knew what was in the script. I like this. I wish that people like Charlotte Flair more than they do, but with the reaction that she gets from the audience and with just the way that she could be a complete just bitch. Sorry, I love you, Charlotte. You know I do, but that's the character that you portray on screen. This is where she's got to be. So I love it. We need more churlish heels on the female side, in my opinion. I don't know that we need to move Rhea there, like Chris said earlier, but we need some on the female side. That's why I thought Bianca was going to go there. She's clearly not. Maybe Jade is going to go there, but I like the fact that we have somebody who's being an evil queen, so to speak, on the women's side. And if it's got to be the queen, then I'm all for it.
Speaking of evil queens, Chris, Drew McIntyre. I don't know. Drew McIntyre. Your boy, I mean, he's a heel now, right, Chris? Like, you've got to even admit he's a heel. He's been a heel for about a year, but you haven't admitted it.
He's a truth teller, Jim. I mean, I don't know how you can label somebody as a so-called heel or bad guy. I'm putting this into quotes if people are listening. He's out there telling the truth. and he's exacting vengeance on those that deserve it. And right now, that's Damian Priest, and so that's what's going to happen. I don't know why you have to keep trying to push this narrative that Drew McIntyre's a heel and a bad guy. It's hard for me to make sense of you sometimes, Jim.
So if he's such a good guy, Chris, why doesn't he fight Damian Priest face to face instead of distracting him, hitting him when he's in another match, causing disqualifications, just ruining things? Why can't he just face him face to face, man?
I mean that's what these people wanted to do to Drew, right? Like that's what Drew is, just doing what they want. You are supposed to treat others how you want to be treated. So they treated Drew like this. They wanted to be treated like that, right?
Sure, Chris. Yeah, go right ahead with that. That's fine. Yeah, you just love it. Rod, how excited are you for the Damian Priest Drew McIntyre Mania match? Any more this week?
I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if I'll go as far as Chris and say that Drew McIntyre is a truth teller. I suppose that in the age we live in these days, the truth is basically subjective. So what's to say truth really is anyway? So, but I think it's cool that we're paying off people who have been watching, right? I mean, that's essentially what we're doing with this Priest McIntyre storyline, is that like, hey, Priest has actually kind of been here foiling Drew McIntyre while Drew McIntyre was insane with rage about taking down CM Punk. So it makes sense long-term wise. Damian Priest is cool, but again, he's just somebody that the crowd doesn't care that much about. And people don't know which way to go on McIntyre right now. So it'll be a pretty good match, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know. It'd be the middle of one of the days. And I mean, congratulations for Drew McIntyre being in a nothing match in the middle of one of the days of WrestleMania.
All right, so serious question. In this match, do you think is going to somehow or something happen where it dictates which way these two guys go? Is one going to go more babyface versus the other one going in the opposite direction? Do we see maybe that having happen? Because by your guys' own admission and talking, they're both kind of in the middle right now. Not too many people know what to think about Damian Priest, and Drew seems to be, well, you guys call him a heel. Some of us think he's not. So does this get pushed? One of these characters get pushed one way or the other during this match?
I think if they got to decide what they want to do with Drew. I mean, he can be a badass all he wants, but he needs to start winning more and big matches. So if they want him to be the next title contender for Cody, if Cody does come out of WrestleMania the champion, which Rod definitely thinks is going to happen, then he needs to win the match, and he needs to win it pretty handily. If they really want to push Damian Priest to a next level, then they need to have him win. It depends what they want to do. And right now, I think Drew's going to win, but I'm not sure on it, Rod.
Here's where I'm at. I was just, for those who do check out our show on YouTube, and if you are just listening to this in your earbuds, don't forget we have a YouTube page, The Morgan You Know, right there on YouTube. Follow us up there. You can see our smiling faces. But, Jimmy, I just did the YouTube. What was I saying before I did the YouTube commercial?
We were going to talk about...
mid-card. That's mid-card. I was mouthing the words mid-card because that's what we have to understand for both of these gentlemen, okay? There's just too many people at the top. Chris hates this, but Sami Zayn is above Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Chris hates that, but it's just true. He gets an absolutely insane pop when he comes back. It's going to be huge. Kevin Owens is a bigger deal than both of these guys. CM Punk's a bigger deal. Seth Rollins is a bigger deal. Roman Reigns is a bigger deal. Cody Rhodes is a bigger deal. The Rock is a bigger deal. I mean, this is just, I'm sorry. Those guys both can wrestle, and they both look like wrestlers because they're absolutely huge, and Drew McIntyre can talk his ass off, but people don't care. So I'm sorry. They're both mid-carders, and that's why they're fighting in a nothing match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think he's kind of right, Chris. I'm sorry.
Hey, Drew McIntyre's wrestling in WrestleMania. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens are not.
Kevin Owens is wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
I have a feeling.
That's happening.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
As of today, they are not.
But one of them gets to fight a future WWE Hall of Famer at WrestleMania, and the other is fighting Damian Priest.
And that's all that happened on SmackDown. Nothing else happened on SmackDown at all this week, unfortunately. It's weird. They usually have like a tag title match or something on these shows, but I didn't see anything else happen.
You didn't, huh?
Nope,
You didn't see that go down on SmackDown?
Nope.
So did your feed cut off before the end of SmackDown then, Jimmy? Is that what happened? And will the USA Network go off your cable there?
Yeah, I couldn't see the Street Profits at all defeating DIY. Those bastards.
What could have been the highest frog splash that I have ever seen off a top rope.
I just hope that they capitalize on this team. Street Profits are terrific. They've kind of just been
terrific for a long
middling
time.
nowhere for years now. Years, like
Yes.
more than 2.
Aren't they like one of the longest times between tag team reigns, Jim? Because tag teams normally just break up, right?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so really, we need to see them continue to be featured and do those amazing matches because they're great in the ring.
Oh, Montez Ford's incredible, dude. He's absolutely incredible. He's chiseled out of stone. He can fly high. He's actually a pretty good talker. Looks like $1 million damn dollars. Like Montez Ford is there if they want him to be. And so I'm all for this. I love the Street Profits. They've secretly been great. And Jimmy, I'm gonna have to speak some truth to you here too. This could be nah, hey, goodbye for DIY. Because if they're not tag team champions, the crowd has already proven they don't give a shit about either of those two dudes.
How dare you? I've talked a lot of things into fruition, Rod, and I'm going to do this again. We're going to have that Gargano Ciampa feud that will get people back involved. We'll get that. Not anytime soon, but we'll get it. We'll get it here in the next year.
They're gonna main event a Saturday night's main event, and it's gonna be absolutely fabulous.
Damn right
Jimmy.
they are, Rod. I do want to talk about before we head out though. There was a match on Dynamite on Wednesday. It was a rematch from the world title matchup, the pay-per-view from AEW versus John Moxley and Adam Copeland, Cope, if you will. This nail bat that got stuck in John Moxley's back was disgusting. It kind of moved back to the era of ECW or these like not even indie matches, but the below the indie matches, like your backyard stuff that people aren't really being safe with. And listen, if that was gimmicked, which I don't think it was because I've not heard anything. If that was gimmicked at all, praise to you, Tony Khan. But it wasn't, and that looked really dangerous and really bad. And the fact that they showed, not all of it, but they showed enough of it being pulled from his back, that was disgusting, should not happen. And this is where you need a boss that says no. You know, you have so many guys that have so many good ideas, but that happened on a random Wednesday night, right? Was it worth it? Is it ever worth it? I don't think so. And it was like the 10th bad thing that's happened the last couple of weeks in AEW as far as people not getting hurt necessarily, but doing these crazy things that aren't really getting the time to breathe. So let's not do that anymore. That's kind of where I am on that. Rod?
I have such a complicated relationship with AEW. Again, it's just kind of a bit where I call them the Janitors League.
Sure.
Clearly, I understand that these guys are real athletes and there's a lot of talented dudes over there. Like, clearly, I understand that. But, like, their fans on Twitter are just annoying. I mean, they're just absolutely annoying. I mean, any wrestling news that tries to come out about the WWE is just then littered with AEW people just complaining and moaning and bitching and talking about ratings and how terrible the WWE is. And it's just like, ugh. So then I don't like AEW anyway. And then I see him doing things like this. It's cheap. I'm sorry. It's just cheap. This is just, you shouldn't be having this stuff be on television because I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like such an old man here, but you got kids that are watching this stuff and they just don't understand it. And not even just kids, preteens that just don't have their mind advanced enough. And they think, oh, well, I saw this guy on TV take one of these to the back. I'm going to go out and hit my buddy in the back with it. And it's not cool for that reason. It's not cool. I don't care if John Moxley comes to you and says, hey, man, I'm willing to do this. You shouldn't be putting somebody that's employed by you in that position. There's just too many things that can go wrong. And you said it yourself, Jim. It's just cheap. It makes you look cheap. It makes you seem like you're the guys out in the backyard just like, hey, watch me put a firecracker down my pants and light it off. You know, will that make you watch? And that's just not cool, in my opinion.
That'll be our next YouTube short, actually, that one. Chris, I know your TV's in black and white, so you don't see very much blood. You just see kind of a darker color. But what are your thoughts on this?
You know, even if you go back to the hardcore ECW or some of those hardcore Japanese matches that we remember seeing back in like the mid to late 90s, right? even then, like even the barbed wire matches that we saw, right? Those staples, those tacks, those barbed wires, those all had a half inch at most depth where it could penetrate into a human body, right?
Yeah.
Even when Triple H had his sledgehammer, that was a specially made sledgehammer. We know that wasn't real when he hit people with it. We know tables are fixed, but like these spikes on this thing were what, 4 inches long, if I'm being modest, and probably a little bit longer, right? Not only could they have penetrated fully into this guy's back, but even a miss, left, right, up or down, you are going to be causing major internal damage, possibly death, with one little mistake for a random Wednesday TV show, let alone any televised event. It's amazing that this got through any type of checks and balances, right? Because if anything seriously happened, like God forbid, a la Owen Hart, there is major issues coming forth where there is going to be a whole lot of liability being tossed around. And it's amazing to me that none of that got nixed before it even got proposed to be in the ring on that day.
Well, WWE used barbed wire in the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match, right? They had the barbed wire chair, but to me, that looked like doctored barbed wire because KO took it supposedly to the face and he wasn't even cut. So, you know what I mean? Like that, you know, that was probably some doctored barbed wire. So I'm not trying to let the WWE completely off the hook here and say that they don't try to do things that seem sensational, but they certainly seem to be a little more dedicated to safety than what we saw on Wednesday night.
I mean, the Brock Lesnar-Randy Orton matchup where Brock Lesnar hit Randy Orton above the eye like 5 times to get him to bleed, and that was real. Those were real punches. You know, that's one of the most dangerous things you can do because you're giving him a concussion. But I just wanted to point that out before we left today. We've got the NCAA tournament we're probably going to hit on when the NBA Fast Break comes back next week, hopefully. We've been in a big transition here in the Morgan You Know studios. Have been moving around. Hopefully we'll be able to be back on track next week, but we've got an NFL draft. Free agency's done. Aaron Rodgers might be on a team next week. You just never know these things. Indiana Hoosiers got a new coach. Chris, listen, this is Yeah We Know podcast, part of Morgan Knows Podcast Network. Chris, give me a couple minutes on the new Indiana coach. What do you think?
Thank God you went to Chris because I'd never heard of this guy.
Neither have I.
So he was most recently the coach of West Virginia. That's where he came from this past year. He's only been there for 1 year, which not great, but hey, listen, he took a team that won 9 games the previous year and won 19 this year. That's a quick turnaround, which we need to see in this NIL type thing. Not only that, the 5 years before that, he was at Drake, and he took Drake to the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row and completely turned that program around. He has more NCAA tournaments as Drake's head coach than Drake had in the history of their school before that. So I think this is a guy who has, for lack of a better term, won wherever he's gone. You can Google him.
Uh-oh.
I knew you were going there. You think this is their Coach Sig, huh? I don't know, man.
hope.
No, listen.
This guy didn't have nearly the track record that Coach Sig did. Certainly was at a lower level for Coach Sig, but he did it for years.
Listen, I am a long time diehard IU fan, but I am also a realist when it comes to IU and its basketball program currently. We are a middle of the Big Ten type school right now, and so it's the truth. It really is. And so we have to have somebody that is willing to have more of a modern type offense, not a stagnant offense. And I'm sorry, but Mike Woodson, you had a stagnant offense. Me and my mother could tell what you were going to do every time you took the ball down the court and ran a half-court set, all right? If my mom and me can see that, so can professional basketball people, okay? So we need something better.
You're selling Linda a little short here, Chris. All right, she was a season ticket holder at IU with Wendell for many years. All right, she's a trained basketball eye.
She knows her stuff. She does,
say,
but she's not professionally trained. She's not ever been a coach or blah blah blah. Neither have I. Right? We've just watched a lot of basketball. That doesn't make us a professional.
And speaking of basketball, we're going to talk about how the Pacers Hopefully next week they're playing a little bit better than they have. Hey, Rod, they won 2 games back to back against teams that. Well, I'm not going to lie. I was on the bench for the Mavericks game. I didn't get in, but I was there. I was dressed. I was ready. That was pathetic. They won, and they won in overtime against the Nets tonight. So go Pacers, go!
Hey, our guy Dax Storm was in attendance for that overtime Nets fiasco. So that's shout out to Dax. Always loving that. And yeah, it'll be fun to get back to some basketball. But as we said, we have a Morganino studio still firmly located here in Mishawaka. We have a Morganino studio still located firmly in Bloomington with the old man. But we will be opening a office in Harlan, Kentucky. No, it's not Harlan, Kentucky. Can you tell I have Justified on the brain, Jimmy? I got all the Justified season 4, 5, and 6 takes you want. That's hot off the presses, right?
I'll say there's not many people out there that know about Harlan County.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Knows Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris.
So next week, Jim, are we allowed to call you Hillbilly Jim?
Goodbye, Net. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
People of Kentucky are fantastic.
Everything closes too early.
It kind of does.